for now. Very rarely spoken about Baf's skill making pies. Oh, that trade was good for Ryu. I think the Oki scenario off of Donkey Kick is better than the Oki scenario off of anything else, which is why he did that combo. I think Donkey Kick does a smidge less damage than Tatsu. Pretty sure. I'm also certain that Tatsu and hard Tatsu and hard uppercut do the same damage. What's this? Oh Jesus! I can't be opening that on stream. What the fuck, dude? Don't post not safe for work images without fucking just saying they're not safe for work. Dude, we could have a real life Adventures of Bath where I just make a pie. Kuni. If I went on Facebook, I could find more pictures of food I made. Maybe. I don't want to interrupt this video, though. I guess I could download the picture from Facebook onto my phone and then tweet it. I made Sukiyaki one time and it came out pretty well. Oh shit, I uninstalled Facebook on my phone. I forgot. Because I hate Facebook. That's a very permanent solution to that problem. Never mind. I could go on Facebook on my browser, I guess. Facebook.com. Probably gonna hound me to download the app. Ringo. How do I look at my photos? Apps photos, perhaps? Profile pictures, timeline photos. I only have 5. There we go. Gallery. Damn, I'm missing this match with Ringo. Download. If you guys don't get starving by the time you see this, I made this kind of a long time ago. If you guys aren't like, oh shit, I'm starving by the time you see the Sukiyaki. Alright, prepare your bodies. Alright. Back off the internet. Back onto this third strike nonsense. Well, that super jump. That was a failed super. Is that the Sukiyaki? Ooh, tasty. Look at that mess. Sukiyaki is really ugly even when it's good. Oh, 6 notifications. Maybe it was a mistake to upload all this tasty food. I failed to cook. That back fierce is kind of good. It's a bit like it is in Street Fighter 5. Almost no range, but the capacity to beat like everything. It's like a twin palm, except it's a normal. And comes out like a million times faster. And cancels to super. That buffering! How'd he block that long and then still get the legs out? I didn't realize you could buffer it and then delay that much. What the fuck, man? Chun-Li's of today or something else. That's really hard. But it's not really hard to do that kind of... It's not really hard to do hard kicks during that fucking jump or whatever. But I didn't realize you could fucking lay out that much time. No human would ever fucking... That was so safe. No one's gonna parry that fucking lightning legs. And he was safe from reversals. Makoto reversal super 1 is actually a good reversal. It's the only good reversal she has. That's one of the little advantages of super 1. But if you want a reversal with it, you have to go all out. You don't get any meter when you throw a fireball and the opponent parries it. You don't get meter for a fireball until the opponent blocks it. It's clear from Street Fighter 3's design that they were still reacting to Super Turbo fireballs. The design team felt very much like those fireballs were just way too strong. And you can see in the decisions, the design decisions they made with Alpha and Street Fighter 3, that they were just like, fireballs are really stupid. We didn't mean to make them that good. Fireballs get a lot of shit in Street Fighter 3 for being like underpowered. But really, there almost weren't any conventional fireballs in the game. Who has a fireball? Oro has a pretty good one. Urien has one, but he wasn't in the game until Second Impact. Remy wasn't in the game until Third Strike. Ryu and Ken almost weren't in New Generation. And they pretty much have the only fireballs in that game. Besides Ibuki's air fireball. Street Fighter 3 wasn't really about fireballs when they were designing parries as a mechanic. SC fireballs were insanely good. They had no business being as good as they were. Fireball freeze even like helps you react to things. Like you can't immediately hit a button during fireball freeze just ending because it'll telegraph. And fireball's doing really high dizzy and like pretty good damage. And the fact that you could fireball and still anti-air. It was absolutely terrible. I mean, terrible's a strong word because the game is still pretty cool. But like it's so stall. I feel like that's one problem that MK dodged by having fireballs not interact. Of all the things you can say about old MK and old Street Fighter, MK2 and MK3 had a huge advantage in that the fact that fireballs don't interact at all was way less stalematey. Street Fighter 4 and 5 both seem to have a really good balance on fireballs. Fireballs are about a 7 in Street Fighter 4 if they're a 10 in Street Fighter 2. And they're about a 6 in Street Fighter 5 if they're a 10 in Street Fighter 2. Compared to, say, Street Fighter 3, where they're probably like a 2. Nice. Or Alpha, where they're probably like a 2. That's very difficult to parry out of. Even if you parry the first few hits, Akuma recovers. And then he can start hitting you low or something like that. And then you've got to start doing a really crazy parry. And you don't know what you're going to be parrying, which is the biggest enemy of parrying. It makes it pretty much unsurvivable. Nice. That jump. Wow. That short swing blow did work for him. Tosca Sensei, I've seen a lot of Dudleys in my time. Tosca Sensei, of all the Dudleys I've ever seen, does the best job dismantling Chun-Li. He has this matchup down to a science. He is really strong against Chun-Li players. Chun-Li is possibly Dudley's worst matchup. Dead. I have no idea. Down strong is not that good at normal. It's not that bad. It's like a low forward with slightly more range and slightly more startup and slightly more recovery. It's pretty much interchangeable with low forward. Except it's a bit better and a bit slower. A bit farther and a bit slower. Overall, low forward is a bit better. Dudley, it's of all the characters in this game, Dudley's one of the ones who can use momentum the best. Because he has an overhead that confirms to super, he's got a low that confirms to super, and he's got the rose to kill your Oki, to kill your wake up. So in general, like Dudley can just get perfect. It's like the easiest of any character. Dudley can just like, ooh. He timed his overhead like Yun was going to back roll, and Yun actually didn't quick stand. Quick stands are back rolls in this game. Wow, that traded. Holy shit. Quick stand is like doesn't exist in this game because everyone has a back roll instead. But the input is just like a quick stand. Wow, what a good escape. Yun is really good in Ganaging, but he still doesn't have a wake up. His only remotely good wake up option is like his non-Super 3 supers and his EX up kicks. And you can't use EX when you're in Ganaging, of course. So he pretty much has no wake up when he's in Ganaging. Which means if you actually manage to sweep Yun or something like that, you might as well go for some Oki. It's not like you need to stay away from him. With a lot of like power-up kind of styles, it's kind of like it's obvious to immediately want to hang away from the character until it wears off. And in footsies that would be true. You don't want to be near Yun in footsies while he's in Ganaging. But his moves still have start off even if it's very low. That makes less of a difference than you'd think. I mean, it's useful. You don't really see people tag on the super for just for the hard knockdown a lot of the time. Dudley does it. Dudley's the character who does it the most. Dudley Super 3 is not... It doesn't add a huge amount of damage, so and you have a lot of them, so you might as well tag it on pretty much any time you can tag it on. It's not uncommon to see Dudley players tag on a super that does 5% of the opponent's health at the end of like a really long juggle. You usually want your supers to do somewhere around 25 at least. 25%. The strongest supers in this game can even kill the opponent. Well, not inherently. You need a full super combo. But there are a few characters who can kill with a single combo using supers. Oro Super 3 has a touch of death. Makoto Super 2 has a touch of death. The strongest supers, for the most part, do right around 50%. Super 1 still. Interesting. Wow. That uppercut. I wonder if it has something to do with the crouch roundhouse juggle. In that juggle, Super 1 does noticeably more damage than Super 2. I mean, it always does. Ooh, there it is. Dudley's really like the Super 1 against Chun and Elena. And I don't fully understand the reasoning behind it. The reasoning I heard, which sounds okay, is that you get few opportunities, so you might as well make them more damaging. And Super 1 is more damaging than Super 3. They have pretty much identical setups. I don't know if a single combo Dudley has that works into one but not the other. One is a dramatically easier parry than 3. One is only 2 parries before you can interrupt. 3 is 5 parries. And 1 you can start parrying in the middle, and 5 you can't, unless you red parry. If you parry 1 midair, you'll land after the first 2 hits, and then you can block. If you parry 3 midair, you have to parry the entire super. Oh, he like got a good crouch roundhouse and then he like freaked out. Oh, GG. Whatever he tried to wake up with is a terrible idea. Don't reverse anything. Japan loves playing in singles and didn't start playing best 2 of 3 or double elimination until American influence. Until the American tournament scene kind of flourished. This game has always been played in singles. Tut tut tut. That wasn't bad. There was no particular reason not to keep parrying. That was probably just a minor fuck up. They got him killed in his parry timing. Every parry you get there builds meter, so you might as well just keep parrying. It's not like she can hold you forever either. Eventually the lightning legs will stop being mashable, but it takes a kind of long time. I think up to 40 hits for one of the versions. It's like 40-18. It's like 40-22-18 for like light, medium, hard, I think. You like Chun mirrors? A lot of people hate Chun mirrors. There's quite a lot to Chun mirrors. Basically, crouch medium kick is like such an incredibly dangerous button that the entire name of the game is counter poking it. And you can counter poke it with your own crouch medium kick if your footsies are super solid. But there's a lot of other ways to counter poke it, like with sweep or low strong. It's actually a pretty interesting matchup. Low strong is really good for counter poking low forward because it goes slightly farther. And she doesn't actually move forward for kind of a long time, so crouch medium kick usually doesn't trade with it. Or even beat it clean. Matches a very... Wow! Towards hard kick over the fireball. That was pretty neat. There's a lot of different ways to play the same matchup in this game. That's one thing I like about it. Like, in Street Fighter 4, if you... Your strat can revolve around, like if you're playing, like, let's say, like, Balrog versus Blanca, the answer for pretty much every Balrog player when a Blanca's doing, like, rainbow rolls is, like, I'm gonna stand strong this rainbow roll. You know what I mean? That's just Balrog's counter to rainbow roll. Stand strong. Kind of similar to how it worked in Street Fighter 2, really. Moves, counter moves. You find all the moves that you have that best counter your opponent's ones. In this game, there's less of that. Or rather, there's more of it and it's less pronounced. It's not one move that just destroys a move, but a lot of move that interacts favorably most of the time. And there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. It's like, oh, far stand fierce works decently here. I get more damage than my opponent does in general connects. But you could find something else instead. You could find low strong and be like, well, this goes under most of the time. Or like you could just dodge the scenario. You could run away. You can see a bunch of different people playing the same matchups radically differently. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Because they focus on their own skills. There's less matchup play and more like talent play, I guess. More play style. That's partially based on what parries do. Having a mix-up or playing in an unusual way is very powerful because of the way parries work. There's a big emphasis on being unpredictable in third strike. Oh my god, that uppercut. He had to parry that, of course. So it wasn't that risky. Nice. Got the meter from the shoulder. Most Yuns avoid the shoulder. But if you don't have the meter to do the super, but you will after the shoulder, you'd of course do the shoulder. And I think doing down forward, light punch, when you don't have the meter to super, will give you the shoulder, so you might as well. Yun's bullshit. Ooh, the universal overhead, that's a kind of tight combo to get. Oh my Jesus, that's not invincible frame 1. Or rather, it doesn't activate frame 1. No super. That was a pretty bad drop. Let Yun out of the... Wow, you almost never see that. Air to air followed by ducking super. It's kind of telegraphed, and if the opponent parries it, it's your ass on a silver platter. But it's unblockable because it resets the opponent to a super before they hit the ground. If you couldn't whiff normal for meter, the game wouldn't change that much. Whiffing normal for meter is something that a lot of good characters incidentally have. It's not particularly broken, it's just that the characters who have it are really strong, and the characters who don't have it are really weak. But that's just like a coincidence. It's not whiffing normal for meter that makes the characters that are good really strong. The main problem with whiffing normal for meter is it forces a lot of... It's turtle play in a game with very little turtle play. You can whiff something for meter in every single Street Fighter. In Alpha, it was like throws. In modern games, it's special moves. Oh, he didn't burn the meter for that. He got the super cancel on the frame that he killed. Nice. It would be a good change, or rather, it wouldn't necessarily be that good of a change. It would nerf the good characters, which you could argue to be a good thing. But it's not really fundamentally addressing the reason they're good. It's just sort of taking something incidentally good away from the good characters. It's frequently used as a, what do you call it? A scapegoat for other deeper problems. Whiffing normal meter is not very much of a big deal. It just happens that Chun-Li and Dudley and fucking Yun are extremely good at it. Aura has terrible meter build from whiffs, so it would be good for me if they removed it. I would lose almost nothing and every other person would lose something. And Tier Shoryuken is invincible for Akuma. Akuma has the only Shoryuken in the game that's invincible fully until it hits. Meterless Shoryuken. Meterless reversal, I should say. Everyone else needs to spend bar. Or doesn't have one at all. Huh. Crouch medium kick connected, Tatsu didn't. That's kind of far away to go for that. Yeah, not enough time. Shouldn't have gone for it. Dudley could reaction parry the super, and Ryu couldn't make it in time to fuck up the parry. Huh. Short swing blow. It's really weird to see a reversal EX uppercut from Ryu. It works. It's a functional reversal, but it's still really weird. It carries too much risk and too little reward. Nice red parry. Very good. The hard Tatsu gets the most corner carry. Holy fuck. These two players are slugging it out. This is some really aggressive play. Jesus Christ, there's only parries. And like reversals and shit. He didn't red parry that. Any red parry is tight. I can understand why he would be nervous about that one. That's way too far away. Holy shit. Caught Dudley at a time when he wasn't ready. He shouldn't have jumped. I guess he should have jumped, but he should have been ready to parry. I'm thirsty. What kind of uppercut? I think he wanted a Hadoken. Forward dash Hadoken. Normally you can't really get an uppercut like that. Like it's too far away. The forward dash and the Hadoken. Wow, nice counter poke. Ryu's crouch fierce is quite quick. And thus when he parries, if he crouch fierces immediately, it'll frequently hit the limb inside him. Ooh. Is that forward dash demon? I was like typing to this guy, but that's what I saw in my peripherals. That's kind of hard, but not insanely hard. Ooh. Suddenly too mobile. Ooh, nice. That's the fuck up. That's the parry fuck up. If you get a fully charged engine, you can hit the opponent low while they're parrying the engine, and it makes the parry really difficult. Because you've got to maintain the same rhythm for the high parries, but then add in low parries. As Ryu like does low forward. So it'll be like dot 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 dot. Like that. Wow. Super through a fireball, you almost never see that. Suddenly Super 2 is quite good at going through firewalls. It's a scenario most people aren't trained to be ready for. That's nice. The initial fireball was sadly poorly timed. But in order to time it later, in order to do it later, he had to either be farther away, which he couldn't do in time, and was a bad idea anyway, or throw the fireball later, which would give him less engine charging. It was a rock and a hard place. You can't, like, the weaknesses of Denjin, you become very aware of once you, like, start to play a lot of Denjin Ryu. There's this big idea that it's an amazing super, and it is an amazing super, but so many scenarios, it's very, mediocre. The only time where Denjin is truly, genuinely, like, kind of broken is when you get a hard knockdown. I shouldn't say hard knockdown because Ryu has no hard knockdowns when he picks Denjin super. When you get an unteched knockdown on a cornered opponent, or when a low charged engine would stun. When a low charged engine will stun, Ryu becomes an insane character because he can do shit like stand fierce into hard uppercut or something like that, which is of course normally insanely risky. But he can do a cancel to Denjin, and then the Denjin is a true block string from the uppercut, and it stuns and it's unblockable. Combos like that make him terrifying. And a level 1 Denjin does about 30-40% of the opponent's stun bar. Level 1 Denjin is unsafe on block though. Or it's unsafe on hit rather. So if it doesn't dizzy, you're gonna get punished. So if Ryu has to charge a little bit, then you can hit him while he's charging. And if you try and hit him as he's charging, and he releases, you like run the risk of eating the Denjin, but the Denjin is unsafe on hit at low charge. So you can try and punish him, and the only thing you can do is release early, and then you eat the hit, and then you still get a punish. So that's a pretty bad scenario for Ryu, unless unless the Denjin dizzies the opponent. Ooh, that was a pretty short one.